Hello friends, Namaskar, this is Sanjay. Welcome to part 7 of this video series where we will be solving 150 questions based on Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory, ZPD, scaffolding and other concepts. This video is part 7 of this series, and if you have started watching this from somewhere in the middle, I recommend that you should start watching from part 1 onwards, where I have given a brief explanation of the various concepts that we will be discussing in this video. Solving questions based on Vygotsky's theories and concepts is very important for your CTET paper 1 preparation, because not only can you solve almost 12 out of the 30 CDP questions very easily if you are familiar with Vygotsky's theories and concepts, but you can also solve many of the NEP questions if you are familiar with Vygotsky and his theories. So let's get started. Lev Vygotsky refers to the verbal dialogues that children have with themselves as which of the following? So these verbal dialogues that children have with themselves is the process where children speak to themselves when they are doing something. They will be giving instructions to themselves, they will be guiding themselves, they'll be talking to themselves. So this talking to themselves by young children is nothing but private speech, and that is the correct answer here. Lev Vygotsky's socio-cultural perspective of learning emphasizes the importance of what in the learning process. Now, as soon as you see Lev Vygotsky, think about the SCL formula, that is social factors, cultural factors and language. So these are the three important things which are important in the cognitive development of children as per Lev Vygotsky's socio-constructivist theory. So when you look at the answer choices, see if you have S, C or L in it. Now there is cultural tools, which is the C. Therefore, this has to be the correct answer. Lev Vygotsky's ideas on language and thought suggest which of the following. Now, if you remember what is Lev Vygotsky's theory, Lev Vygotsky says that children receive information from social interactions and from cultural factors, and this information is received through language, because language helps children to receive and send information. It is a tool for communication, and language is also a system for thinking, logic and reasoning. So language is what helps in processing the information received from social interactions and cultural factors and convert it into knowledge. Therefore, language is very necessary for the development or for the construction of knowledge. Now let's look at all the options. The last one says cognition or the development of knowledge is independent of language. This is absolutely incorrect, because without language, there will not be any development of knowledge or cognition. Therefore, this is an incorrect statement. There is no relation between language and cognition. This is also absolutely incorrect, because language is what helps in the development of cognition or knowledge. Therefore, this is also incorrect. Then, cognitive development guides language. This is the reverse of what is true, because it is language which helps in cognitive development and not the other way around. Therefore, this also can be eliminated. So the first option says language guides cognitive development. This is absolutely true, because language helps in gathering information from various sources and a way of thinking, logic and reasoning, which allows for the processing of this information into knowledge or in cognitive development. Therefore, option 1 is the correct answer. Lev Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory emphasizes teaching and learning through which of the following? Now, when we talk about Lev Vygotsky's theories and the socio-cultural theory and the socio-constructivist theory, and we solve questions based on Lev Vygotsky's theories, we will come across a few keywords that we will have to remember. Words like social, cultural, language, peer interaction, more knowledgeable others, scaffolding, cues and hints. So these are all keywords that will be in the correct answer for Lev Vygotsky related questions. Now here, if you look at it, rewards and punishment, that is behavioral training or behavioral learning and development. Therefore, this cannot be the correct answer. Drill and recall, this is rote learning, memorization. This cannot be part of the Lev Vygotsky theory. Then we have peer interaction and scaffolding. Peer interaction is nothing but social interaction, and scaffolding is also a keyword in Lev Vygotsky's theory. Therefore, this has to be the correct answer. The next one, use of analogies and algorithms. So this also is not mentioned in Lev Vygotsky's theory. Therefore, this we can ignore. So peer interaction and scaffolding is the correct answer here. Lev Vygotsky theory mainly focuses on explaining which of the following. Now, as we have seen in some of the previous questions, when we are talking about Lev Vygotsky's theories, you have to remember some of the keywords. Words such as social, cultural, language, peer interaction, more knowledgeable others, scaffolding, cues and hints. So these keywords will tell us that this is the correct option or the correct answer. Now, when we look at all the answer choices, right? The second option talks about the role of cultural tools in cognitive development. So cultural is a keyword here. So we can identify that option 2 is correct. If you look at the other options, Lev Vygotsky does not talk about heredity because biological development or biological factors are completely ignored in Lev Vygotsky's theory. Therefore, this can be eliminated. The bioecological model of socialization, again here, biological or bioecological models are not spoken about in Lev Vygotsky's theory. So remove this option. The last one, the impact of attribution pattern on motivation. So this again is not discussed in Lev Vygotsky's theory. Therefore, this also can be eliminated. Therefore, option 2 is the correct answer here. Lev Vygotsky's theory of cognitive development is called a dash theory, as he argues that children's learning takes place in a context. So when we look at all the options, it is very easy to identify. Lev Vygotsky's theory is the socio-cultural theory or the social constructivist theory. Therefore, socio-cultural is the correct answer. As soon as you see the name Lev Vygotsky, you should immediately think of SCL, that is social factors, cultural factors and linguistic factors. Lev Vygotsky's theory of cognitive development is situated in the dash perspective. Now, this again is a very simple question. The moment you think of Lev Vygotsky, think of social, cultural and linguistic factors. So when we look at all the options, the first one says socio-cultural, which is Lev Vygotsky's theory. Therefore, this has to be the correct answer. Mohan provides students with containers of different capacities to help them learn the concept of volume. And Farah is asking the students to brainstorm on possibilities of making waste disposable a mechanical task so that two people don't have to do these menial tasks. Both of these teachers are employing what kind of teaching process in their classroom? Now, if you look at it, what is Mohan doing? Mohan is not giving direct instruction to the children. He is giving children an experiment. He is giving them some containers so that children can actively participate in this activity. So there is active participation that is happening. There is experiment or experiential learning that is happening, and children are constructing the knowledge here. Mohan is not just giving them some knowledge. Mohan is helping the children construct the knowledge by providing them with support, which can be called scaffolding. Now, if you look at what is Farah doing, Farah is doing something very similar, where Farah is actually asking the children to brainstorm. So here there is social interaction which is happening or peer interaction which is happening, and the students are coming up with the solutions. Farah is not giving instructions. The children are thinking about it, they are brainstorming and they are coming up with some ideas on how to make waste disposable a mechanical task. So in both these cases, with Mohan and with Farah, children are constructing the knowledge and the teachers are providing support in the form of scaffolding. So here we are talking about constructivism. Therefore, constructivism is the answer. This is not behaviorism, this is not operant conditioning, and as we have seen, this is not direct instruction. Most classrooms in India are multilingual, and this needs to be seen as dash by the teacher. Now, if you look at it, in any typical classroom, there will be children from different linguistic backgrounds. That is, children will have different mother tongues. Therefore, what should the teacher think about this sort of a classroom? Is it a problem? No. Is it a burden? No. Is it an obstacle? Definitely no. It is actually a resource, because children get to appreciate how many different types of languages there are in India. Children can interact with each other, and young children pick up other languages quite easily, quite fast. Therefore, multilingual classrooms where children come from different linguistic backgrounds are a resource, and that is the correct answer. And even if we look at Vygotsky's theories or social constructivist classroom theories, we see that social factors, cultural factors and linguistic factors, that is language, are very, very important in the cognitive development of children. Therefore, language or multilingual situation or a multilingual classroom cannot be an obstacle, burden or problem. So it is a resource, and that is the correct answer. NCF 2005 emphasizes on the constructivist approach of learning as it focuses on which of the following. Now, what does constructivist approach say? Constructivist approach says that children acquire information from social factors and cultural factors, and they will actively construct knowledge in their brains or in their mind. Now, we are talking about active construction here. So when you look at all the answer choices, see which of them is best aligned with constructivist approach. Memorization of definitions and formulae is not a constructivist approach. This is just memorization, remembering things even without understanding it. Submission of regular homework is again just a task or an assignment, and this is not a constructivist approach. And effective learning and effective lecture and instructions by the teacher. Here again, we are not talking about the students, we are talking about the teacher here. Therefore, this also is not a correct answer. Option 3 says active participation of the teacher through engaging activities. So in the constructivist classroom, the teacher and the students actively participate in the construction of knowledge. The teacher actively provides support and scaffolding to the students who are learning. Therefore, active participation by the teacher is something that is encouraged or emphasized by the NCF 2005. Therefore, that is the correct answer. Private speech in Vygotsky's theory is which of the following? Now, as per Vygotsky's theory, private speech is used by the children for self-regulation and self-direction. Self-regulation means where they are actually controlling their behavior, and self-direction is where they are giving instructions to themselves. So private speech can be thinking out loudly, that is expressing their thoughts loudly without actually addressing anybody else. They are just speaking to themselves. So that is private speech. Now, when you look at the answer options, private speech helps children to regulate their behavior while doing complex tasks. That is, they are regulating themselves, self-regulation. Therefore, option 3 is correct. It is not egocentrism as per Vygotsky's theory. It does not hinder children's actions and behavior, and it is not an indication that cognition is never internalized. Therefore, all these 3 statements are not in line with Vygotsky's theory. Option 3 is the correct answer. Rashmi uses a variety of tasks to cater to different learning potential of learners in her class and often makes groups to facilitate peer learning. Which of the following theory supports her actions? So what is Rashmi doing here? First, she is using a variety of tasks. That is, she is engaging in active learning. That is, she is not just giving instructions or lecture to the students. She is making sure that the children are actively participating in the teaching and learning process, and there are a variety of tasks that the children can do. So this is experiential learning, and she understands that children have different learning potentials and they need support at each level. Therefore, we are talking about scaffolding here, where Rashmi is providing support to different children at different learning potentials, and she is also making groups to facilitate peer learning. Peer learning is nothing but social interactions. So when you look at all of these and you look at all the options, we are talking about socio-constructivist classroom here. We are also talking about Lev Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory here. Therefore, the option 2, that is Lev Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory, where there is peer interaction or peer learning that is happening. Children are actively constructing knowledge through a variety of tasks or a variety of activities in the classroom, and the teacher is also participating in the activities that are happening in the class. So all these are part of Lev Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory. Therefore, this is the correct answer. Scaffolding in the context of learning theories refers to which of the following? Now, scaffolding is something that we talk about when we are discussing Lev Vygotsky's theories. And Lev Vygotsky says that there are some tasks which the children can do independently. There are some tasks that the children can do based on their existing knowledge, or they are beginners, but they will need the support of an adult or a more knowledgeable other to complete those tasks. So those tasks which the children can do but with somebody else's support are called the zone of proximal development, and the support that is provided to the learners or the students in the zone of proximal development is scaffolding. This support is not permanent. This is just temporary till the children or the students become experts in that particular task or activity. Therefore, look at all the answer choices. The third option says that scaffolding is the temporary support in learning. Therefore, this is the correct answer. Now, this temporary support in learning is not just by adults. It can be by peers also. But here, when you look at all the options, the third option is the best answer here. The socio-constructivist view of learning emphasizes on the importance of what in the process of learning. Now, when you look at all the options, we have already discussed when we are talking about a socio-constructivist theory. So, This is mostly based on Lev Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory. And when we are talking about the socio-cultural theory, we have to talk about social factors, that is social interactions, then cultural factors and language. So the correct answer should have one of these or something which is related to one of these. Now, when we look at all the options, the first one says interactions. So where do interactions happen? Interactions happens with others. It can be other of the same age, which is peers, or it can be teachers, family members, community members. Therefore, we are talking about social interaction here. Therefore, interactions is the correct answer. Rewards and punishments is behavioral, and heredity is biological, and inflexible pedagogical approaches is mostly memorization or rote learning. So all these three can be ignored. Students learn through self-initiated activity while actively engaging in discussions in a classroom based on which of the following. Now look at all the keywords. We are talking about activities. We are talking about active learning which is happening. We are talking about discussions which are social interactions. So here we are talking about a social constructivism approach or a socio-constructivist classroom. Therefore, option 3, which says social constructivism, that is the correct answer here. With that, we have completed the 15 questions in this part. If you have any questions, comments or feedback, please post them in the comment section below. And the rest, you know what to do. So I will see you again in the next part. Till then, take care, stay safe.